What's up, everybody? Welcome back and happy Friday. I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. And they're still linked there for you in the description to this video. Today, we've got a couple scattered storms possible across the Northeast as well as across parts of the Rocky Mountain West. We'll talk about it all. It's going to be very scattered. Then we're getting into our extended outlook for what temperatures are going to look like, who's in the heat dome, who's getting some rain, etc., into next week. But we're going to end the show. It's going to be pretty tropical heavy today, guys. We're all watching Hurricane Hilary out in the East Pacific. Could it head up into California, and what's that going to look like if it makes its way up there early next week? So getting into all that here in a moment, but before we get into our weather, check us out at the Top Rep event. Frank is going to be there at a booth, so you guys can say hey to Frank if you remember him from the forecast videos, or if you've talked to him lately, go say hi. Give Frank a hard time because it's always fun to do that. So August 21st through 22nd is when we're going to be there, so that's going to be Monday through Tuesday of next week, and it's in New Braunfels, Texas at the convention center, so come say hello. Now getting into right now, it's still clear, pretty sunny across the central plains here and parts of the southeast. We got that cold front that's finally moved off into the Atlantic, so not much storms to go around for most of us here today. The top end of that low is still kind of circulating around the New England states, and it's making its way with one line out of the Boston area and moving into the Atlantic, but we should still have some scattered storms popping up throughout the day in that area. That could get us some gusty winds as well as potential tornadoes. And then there's Hilary, looking pretty strong out in the Pacific. Category 4 hurricane right now, and it is tracking up to the north. So there is a potential, again, that could make landfall in or near the California area as it kind of scoots right up along the, California peninsula there. Forgetting the name. But anyway, it's going to move up that way, so potential to see impacts up that way as well. So current conditions-wise, otherwise, I mean, it's still hot and pretty clear for most of us here, sitting in the 70s for a lot of us up in the Central Plains and in the Ohio Valley, a little bit warmer down through Texas and the desert Southwest. And then we've got really just a ridging pattern moving through the central U.S., and we'll talk about it here in a minute. But basically, that's going to leave us hot and muggy, at least into this weekend. 5 p.m., seeing some little surprised faces there. It's going to be pretty humid through the southeast. I don't think that actually is a surprise to you guys down in the southeast. And then up through the Ohio Valley and through a lot of the rest of the U.S., it's going to be a little bit, just a touch drier, maybe muggy here and there for this afternoon and evening. And then we'll see a little bit of that humidity returning tomorrow by around noon hour. More of us seeing a little bit of that Gulf moisture streaming up into the U.S. and getting it a little bit stickier outside. So that, I mean, it's going to help us out with potential for storms later on if there's any disturbances, but those New England storms are really the only disturbance we'll see into today, and wind and tornadoes will be the primary threat with those. Then out through the Rocky Mountain West, it's going to be very, very scattered with these storms, but we will have a potential to see some gusty winds here and there. You know how that mountain influence does. It tends to get us some gusts every now and then when storms are strong enough to move through the area. So that's kind of what we're looking at into this afternoon and evening. So for your wind forecast into today, those three areas getting highlighted there through the Northeast as well as through the Rocky Mountain West. If you guys are in like the Albany area eastward to Portland, Boston, or pretty much any city along the Atlantic coast here, that's where you could continue to see some wind gusts rolling through into this afternoon and evening. And then for you guys out in Montana, Butte to Billings has a chance, as well as anywhere just south of Salt Lake City, all the way down to the coast there. Oh, hey, yeah, through our Atlas Pro dashboard. Awesome. Yeah, glad you guys are liking our products and stuff. We do our best to help you all out, so good to hear. But yeah, no, wind chances down through pretty much Las Vegas area all the way into Phoenix, Tucson. You guys could have some gusty winds with those storms tracking through this afternoon. Tornado chances should just be limited to the northeast here, and it's going to be, again, Boston, Burlington, just to your south, and then Portland, again, along the Atlantic coast with any of those scattered storms that continue to track eastward with that low pressure system. You tend to get a little spin with those, and so some scattered storms are still possible to produce tornadoes into this afternoon. I already had one through Rhode Island, had some people, calling that one in, and so we'll see if we can get any more through this region into this afternoon. Then tomorrow, not much expected. It's going to be a quiet day. Here's kind of our upper air pattern into the next few hours or next few days. Pretty much that ridge is staying strong through the central U.S., and anything that can kind of pop up over it and then dig down into the central U.S. could potentially get us some storms, but right now it's going to be lifting any storm system up to its north and then swinging it back down through the New England states through the next week. So that's going to get us hot and dry through the central U.S. There it is. And then any of that rain potential is going to stay out west where we have systems moving up north, or out east where we've got things moving down over that ridge. But where that ridge is sitting right now, you got a really good chance of being hotter than average this time of year, all the way from the U.S. East Coast into the Rocky Mountain Front Range. Could potentially be seeing abnormally high temperatures, and then pretty dry air as well. Those drought conditions settling in for you guys in the Midwest and Southeast, and then again, potential for rain. And then a bullseye there over California, over Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, and that's all due to Hilary. So we're going to take a look at that in a second, but got to start out with the Atlantic. Seems like hurricane season wants to turn on like a light switch all at once. So that's kind of what we have into today. We've got these three systems tracking through the central basin. This first one, over the next 2 days, has a 60% chance of formation, 70% chance over the next 7 days. It's kind of shifting now to track a little bit more to the northwest instead of due north. So with that, we could potentially see a little bit more development on that as it stays in that area of lower wind shear and, warmer Gulf waters or warmer Atlantic waters. Then out into the central basin, we got that one right in the middle, 40% chance over the next 2 and 7 days. It's kind of tracking in a similar route as, the one behind it. And then lastly, we've got this guy out in the front, heading towards the Windward Islands and then eventually Puerto Rico. 10% chance of development over the next 2 days, 30% over the next 5. Pretty much the same story on, the environmental conditions for all three. And then, last but not least, there is one more disturbance just north of Puerto Rico right now, potentially heading into the Gulf Basin. No chance of that developing over the next 2 days, but we do have another 30% chance on this over the next 5 days to potentially try and develop into something as it tracks into the Gulf Coast. So we got to keep our eye on that over the next 5 days, but now we're watching Hilary out in the Pacific. Atlantic is nice and warm bathwater for all of those storms tracking through, and then it's the same story for everybody out in the Pacific. Anything that can form has a potential to get going real quick, and that's what this storm is doing for. Category 4 hurricane right now, 145 mile an hour wind sustained with Hilary at this point in time. So she's really going, and then as it tracks up towards California, expecting to kind of skirt right along the coastline here, 75 mile an hour category 1 storm here by Sunday, and then potentially dropping down to tropical storm force status as it moves just to the east of LA through the San Diego area, and then again seeing those winds drop down to 50 miles an hour, see if it can make its way any farther north as just a tropical low. But watching Hilary for you guys down in San Diego and in LA as well. So for the first time ever in history, San Diego is under, and the coast of California is under a tropical storm watch. This has not happened before for you guys. Gusts up to 60 knots, which is about 70 miles an hour, is possible through this highlighted area. And then if you're, a mariner out here, seas up to 5 to 12 feet. So not the best time to get out and do any boating or surfing or, whatever you guys can do out on the West Coast. This is going to last through Monday. As that storm makes its way up and through. So for wind speeds, here's your odds of getting tropical storm force winds. That's 40 miles an hour or greater. If you guys are in Tijuana, San Diego, that's where the chances are highest, 41 down in Tijuana, and then, in the 30s once you move into San Diego. Should be dropping off in intensity as it moves north. So that's good news for you guys up just to the north of LA, but in LA, Long Beach, Santa Clarita, you guys will be on the west edge of this storm, but still have the potential to see 40-mile-an-hour winds, which, those get your attention when you're out and about. So stay tuned for that, and this is going to be through Sunday and Monday, so it's going to be the very beginning of next week. And then for your 72-hour rainfall chances, as Hilary moves up into California, we start to get those higher values specifically through the San Diego area up to just west of Las Vegas. Potential to see, 3-4 inches in some areas. And, LA, you guys are not in the clear for that one. It's going to be doing a long period of rain starting in the next little bit here. And then as the entirety of the storm tracks up north, you guys are going to get more heavy rain and potential flash flooding through that area. So that's kind of what it's going to be looking like into, again, early next week. So stay tuned to your weather if you guys are along the coast of California, and we'll keep you updated as things come at us, and we'll let you know on Monday how things are looking as Hilary makes its way up to the West Coast. But that's it for today. You guys can go ahead and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video, and smash that subscribe button everywhere else. And we're at Hail Trace on everything, so it's super easy to find us, and we have lots of cool weather information available for you guys on all of our platforms. And then if you want to give us a call, you can get us at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or check out hailtrace.com for more details. We map all severe storms live, so hurricanes included. We also do hail, wind, and tornadoes across the nation. So if you guys need info on where severe weather is happening and when, you got it. Just scan that QR code up above us or click the link in our description, and we can get you access to those products. But for now, you guys have a safe weekend out there. Again, if you're out in California, stay tuned to your weather as Hilary approaches. And for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.